What's up everybody, welcome back to the channel. So I'm recording this on Wednesday, September the 8th, which means tomorrow, Thursday, is the official kickoff of the 2021 NFL season. Tomorrow's game is between the Cowboys and the Bucks. So I figured before the season starts I would do a little tier list slash kind of predictions sort of video. So as you can see, we're on tiermaker.com. And we have some categories such as Super Bowl contender, playoff team, playoffs if lucky, average but no playoffs, bad, and, well, Texans. So it's pretty obvious what I'm going to do, so we're going to hop right into the video, and we're just going to go down the list of how they have the teams right here on the website. First is the Texans. I definitely think they are a playoff team, but not quite a Super Bowl contender. Obviously, they have the best running back in the league in Derrick Henry. Good offense, just added Julio Jones, have Ryan Tannehill, A.J. Brown, pretty good offensive line. The defense is not great. It'll probably be better than last year because it was not good at all last year. But they'll definitely make the playoffs, but I don't think they'll contend for a Super Bowl. They'll probably make it to the first or second round. For the Dolphins, I have playoffs if lucky. That's kind of what they were last year. Of course, Tua was a rookie. I think he'll improve. I think he'll have a pretty decent year. The defense is still solid, and they added Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller, so there's some speed, some deep threats on the offense now. So I think they can definitely make the playoffs, but it's going to be hard with having the Bills, and now the Patriots have improved, but the Jets still suck. The Browns, they're definitely a playoff team. They made them last year for the first time in, I don't know, like 20 years or 30 years, something like that. I think 25 years maybe, somewhere around there. But they should make it again. They still have lots of talent. Baker Mayfield, Myles Garrett, Nick Chubb, Denzel Ward. I think they still have Austin Hooper. A good offensive line, just talent everywhere. They should be just fine. The Jaguars, they're going to be bad. They have Trevor Lawrence now, who I think is going to be fairly solid this year, but his O-line is bad. Defense is still bad. Travis Etienne got hurt. He's out for the year, which I still think that was a stupid first-round pick since they still have James Robinson, who's a good running back. They're probably going to win 3 or 4 games, maybe 5 at the most. But yeah, they're definitely still going to be bad for a while. The Lions are also going to be bad. They traded Matthew Stafford. They got a couple first-round picks, which is really good. Their quarterback is Jared Goff, who, despite what a lot of people say, he's not terrible, but he's also not good. He's kind of in that average to maybe above average tier. But they'll probably be about the same as the Jaguars. The defense is still bad. They don't have a lot of playmakers on offense. O-line is getting better with Penei Sewell, but they're still a terrible team. Vikings, I have making the playoffs if lucky. I kind of debated putting them in average, but they definitely showed some improvement at the end of the year last year. They still have Kirk Cousins, who is a solid quarterback. Justin Jefferson's in his second year. They still have Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook, and I think the defense is going to be a little bit better. So I think if they're lucky, they can make the playoffs. Obviously, the Buccaneers are a Super Bowl contender. I mean, you got Tom Brady. Just the defense is absolutely loaded. Mike Evans, who's on my fantasy team. Chris Godwin. Rob Gronkowski, who I'm not sure is going to do a whole lot. But still, the team is just loaded everywhere. Great offensive line, everything. The Niners, I don't know if I want to put them a Super Bowl contender because, you know, they're so injury prone, but for this, let's just say they stay healthy. I think they can be a Super Bowl contender. They made it there just a couple years ago and almost won. They still have Jimmy Garoppolo is a solid quarterback. I don't think Trey Lance will play much this year. Still have an amazing defense with Nick Bosa. Still have Raheem Mostert, pretty good offensive line. But the defense is still very, very good. So I think they can definitely contend for a Super Bowl, but I don't see them winning it. Falcons, obviously, I have hope for them, but they're definitely not making the playoffs. I'm going to put them in average, but no playoffs. I don't think they'll be terrible, but I definitely don't think they'll be good either. I'm going to say probably 7 or 8 wins is around what it'll do. Probably about 7-10 is a good record. Got Kyle Pitts, number 4 overall, tight end / receiver. He's going to be a monster. I traded for him on my fantasy team. Matt Ryan's still there. He's a good quarterback. Defense, I think they'll be a little bit improved, which is why I think they'll be better than last year. But still, the defense is not good, and the offense is not elite enough to carry that defense, so I think they'll be average. Ravens are definitely a playoff team. Still have Lamar Jackson. J.K. Dobbins is out for the year, but they'll still be good. Defense is still solid. Lamar Jackson should put up some good numbers, and they should definitely make the playoffs. Bears, I'm going to say they are playoffs if lucky, depending on how Andy Dalton plays and if he gets benched and how good Justin Fields plays. I don't think he'll play that good since he's a rookie. But they still have a great defense with Khalil Mack, and they always have a good defense. And they made them last year with Mitchell Trubisky. So I think they can definitely make them again if they're lucky, but I'm not going to guarantee it, obviously. Bengals, probably going to be bad. Their offensive line is still terrible. Defense is still terrible. They added Jamar Chase, who dropped the ball a bunch of preseason, but he should be fine. Offense should be okay. It's hard with a terrible offensive line. Defense is still bad, so I don't see them winning very many games. Cowboys, I'm going to put in playoffs if lucky, just because they're in a terrible division, and if they weren't, they wouldn't make the playoffs, but I definitely think they can. Look out for the Redskins, though. Or not, my bad, not the Redskins. The Washington redacted football team. They have like the second or third best defense in the league, probably. Cowboys still don't have a very good defense, but they're getting better. They drafted Micah Parsons. But their offense is going to be elite, so I definitely think they can make the playoffs. Let's just put them right there. Colts, definitely playoffs if lucky because of the quarterback situation with Carson Wentz. Don't know if he's going to be healthy, wouldn't count on it. Jacob Eason is talented, and I think he has a lot of potential, but he still hasn't played much, and he's still pretty raw. Doesn't have a lot of experience. So I think they will be lucky if they make the playoffs because they still have a great offensive line, still have a great defense, pretty solid receivers, running backs, Jonathan Taylor. So if they're lucky, they'll make the playoffs. Rams are definitely a playoff team. Traded for Matthew Stafford, and I think he's definitely an upgrade from Jared Goff. I don't know about 2 first-round picks. I think that's a little bit much. But he still should have a good year if he stays healthy. And their defense is obviously loaded with Aaron Donald and Jalen Ramsey. Still have Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. And they also traded for Sony Michel because Cam Akers is out for the year. So their offense should be fine. Their defense should be great. So they definitely should make the playoffs. The Chargers, I'm going to put them in average, but no playoffs with the Falcons. Justin Herbert looked amazing last year. Defense is still okay. Derwin James, Joey Bosa, they're getting better. They're getting fairly solid, but they're still the Chargers, and they just find a way to lose games like the Falcons do. Chiefs, obviously Super Bowl contender, not much to talk about there. Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all those guys, you already know. Saints, I'm going to put in average, but no playoffs. Drew Brees finally retired. I respect the man, but I'm glad he's finally retired as a Falcons fan. Jameis Winston is a wild card, obviously. He throws a lot of interceptions, but he also throws for a lot of yards and touchdowns. So I think he'll definitely cut down the interceptions with Sean Payton as his coach. But I definitely don't see them making the playoffs because Michael Thomas is going to be out for a while, and he is by far their best receiver. So I just don't know about him. Giants, average but no playoffs. Daniel Jones, he regressed a little bit from his rookie year. We'll see how he plays. They have Saquon Barkley supposed to be coming back. They drafted Kadarius Toney, which I liked. Still have Evan Ingram. If he catches the ball, then he'll be fine, which is a big if. Defense is okay. I don't really know a lot about them, but I think they'll be average. Eagles, I'm going to put in average, but no playoffs. Jalen Hurts, I think he'll improve. They drafted Devontae Smith, who I obviously love, and I think he'll do great. They play the Falcons week 1 on Sunday, so I hope Devontae Smith has a good game, but I hope they definitely don't win. Defense is okay. Offensive line is getting healthier. They were not healthy last year, so I think they'll be pretty average. I don't think they'll be too bad. Steelers, I'm going to go playoffs if lucky, especially because of their division, because they're with the Browns and the Ravens, who are both going to be playoff teams. So they'll probably win. They'll probably go like 10-7, something like that. Big Ben should be his last year. He has regressed a whole lot. He is very old. I do love Najee Harris, obviously, their first-round pick. He should be a beast for them. I don't know if the offensive line is going to do him much favors, but we'll see. Broncos will be average, but no playoffs. The quarterback situation is still not good. Teddy Bridgewater is probably going to start, and he is an average quarterback at best. Drew Lock is below average. So they're just not in a good position in that. Still have a solid defense and some good skill players with Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton. Packers, I'm going to put in Super Bowl contender. It's probably going to be the same as every year. They'll probably make it to the divisional or NFC championship and lose, just because that's what they do. They haven't been to the Super Bowl in like 10 years. But I'm still going to put them there because they have Aaron Rodgers, and he's arguably the best in the game right now. Panthers will be average, but no playoffs. I think Sam Darnold will do much better on the Panthers, as most people do, because he's in a better situation. I'm not convinced that he'll be great, but I think he'll be all right. Their defense is getting better. They have some good young players. And with McCaffrey back, that'll definitely help the offense, but I think they will not make the playoffs. Raiders will be playoffs if lucky. They keep getting very close, but not quite there. They're in a tough division. If they get lucky, of course, they will make the playoffs with Derek Carr. I think Henry Ruggs will be better. Josh Jacobs. They have a lot of good young players. Maybe they can get over the hump this year. The Washington Redacted will be playoffs if lucky. Their defense is going to be phenomenal with Chase Young, Jonathan Allen. I think their first round pick was Jamin Davis from Kentucky. So they have just a stacked defense, a stacked pass rush. I actually have their defense on my fantasy team, so I'm looking forward to that. And they play in obviously a weak division, so that's why I have the Cowboys and Washington in the same tier right here, because I think either one of them could make the playoffs. Arizona, playoffs if lucky. They're in a super hard division. I mean, the Seahawks, the Rams, and the 49ers, they got to get really lucky to make the playoffs, but they have the talent with Kyler Murray, DeAndre Hopkins, a defense that is improving with some young players. It's going to take a lot for them to make the playoffs. The Bills, I'm going to put in Super Bowl contender. They looked very good last year. Josh Allen looked very good. Many people are saying he could win MVP this year. I wouldn't doubt it. He looked fantastic last year. Still got Stephon Diggs. Defense is pretty good. Offensive line is solid. They should definitely make a deep playoff run. Seahawks will put in playoff team. They still don't have enough around Russell Wilson, especially in terms of the offensive line, to be a Super Bowl contender. They do have DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. Defense is solid, but the offensive line is just not good enough to protect Russell Wilson, and like he does fine in the regular season, but in the playoffs they just don't have enough to do it. Jets will be bad, no doubt about that. They're the Jets, rookie quarterback. They'll be better than last year. They won 2 games, so they'll probably win 3 or 4. And finally, the Patriots, I'm going to put in playoffs if lucky. I obviously, as an Alabama fan, I have faith in Mac Jones. He was named the starter. They released Cam Newton, which I was a little surprised at. But I think he'll be the best rookie this year. He has a good offensive line, he has good tight ends, decent receivers, pretty solid defense. So I think he can definitely make the right reads and plays to possibly get them to the playoffs. But it's going to be hard with the Bills atop the division. So that is my tier list for this upcoming NFL season. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you disagree with me, let me know. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
I can tell you now, I've been feeling fine. I'm just focused on the grind. Yeah, everybody gonna come and go.